Hello, Scrollgers. Smogan here with an episode of Scrollscast. Believe it or not, it's actually been 4 months since my most recent video, and I'm so sorry for that. I definitely did not mean to leave off for 4 months and leave off on video number 49 to make it worse. How can you not at least get video number 50, you know? Big milestone. But about 4 months ago is when things really started getting pretty awful player base-wise for Scrolls, and frankly, when I would hop on and try to watch a game, it would take me forever to find a half-decent one to watch, and I just kind of gave up, and I'm really sorry for that. I always said that I would give Scrolls 3 months after release to prove that they were going to put some effort into getting a player base, and 3 months after release there was no effort at all other than the humble bundle, and that was decent for about 3 weeks, and then that, well, we all know how things are now. But anyway, to celebrate the end of the era, so to speak, I'm just going to do a couple of more videos here just for fun. Well, I really miss casting and I miss hanging out with everybody. So anyway, without further ado, we've got Tajic, we've got Antirad. I get to play around with replay mode, which I'm super excited about. I no longer have to sit and like hang out in the spectate queue and just hope that a decent match shows up. I can just look at every good match played in the last several weeks or days or whatever. I don't actually know. So we'll just see what happens. Tajic... Or no, I'm sorry, switch over to Antirad, who is playing, looks like a tempo order build, so always happy to see him playing that. He plays that deck so well. I love watching Tajic play. He's got some of the best videos on my entire channel are his games, so if you haven't seen all his matches, make sure you play them. He's playing an energy deck right now. I will caution that while I do know what the Echo Scrolls are, I own all of them, I read the patch notes and all that, I have not played this game in months, so if I make mistakes, if I'm surprised by things like Creature Strike 2 on Winged Soldier, then please forgive me, but we'll see how things go. Anyway, but Antirad does have an early start, Tajic building up to some removal. Antirad will play a third unit here. He could play his fourth as well if he wants to drop the Aging Knight and the Winged Soldier. He is splitting his units intelligently, covering the full board, not giving Tajic any opportunity for area of effect to deal massive damage. Look at that formation. What does he have here? He does have Burn, some Thunder Surge, Sudden Eruption, so lots of options, but nothing to do yet, but just play a Scout Automaton, which will be able to tank these shots from the Aging Knight reasonably well. Antirad finds a Grounds of the Fallen, which will buff all of his guys by +1 attack, which means the Scout will fall, and the Winged Soldier goes back to his 3/2 stats that I'm more familiar with from the past. This Creature Strike 2, really interesting. Not sure about that necessarily, but on 4 resources, a burn comes down. Tajic hoping to stop the bleeding a little bit. Antirad in top deck mode pretty soon here. Goes up to 4 resources for Ducal Skirmisher. We'll play that probably here in this space up front. He might play it behind the Knights. I'm not 100% sure. He plays it in the middle. Okay, what do I know? But he splits his Aging Knight around. Doesn't have to worry about Thunder Surge just yet unless Power Trip comes out. But now's not the time for that. Burn on the second Winged Soldier. Excogitator, one of the strongest scrolls in the game right now, in my opinion, is, or at least was temporarily in hand. Antirad finds a Crossbowman and a Ducal Skirmisher. So we're going to see the Skirmisher come down before combat here. Takes the back rank. Aging Knight comes in. Middle idle down to 2 health in decimation range. Tajic has Power Trip, Sudden Eruption, a couple of Thunder Surges. Doesn't go up to 6 yet. We see Replicaton come down. Potency Burst, a new strong scroll in his deck. I hear that that's been replacing Spark for many energy builds, and I absolutely understand why. Antirad has another Grounds. Tajic hoping for a better draw. Antirad certainly had a nice draw. He's been able to play a relevant threat every single turn. Tajic tanks a little bit of the damage with his Replicaton, which goes back to his hand because of its he had 2 resources up. Potency Burst takes out a unit, removing 1 scroll at a time. Tajic is, but it's not going to be enough to keep up with Antirad's pressure. We do see Favored, which is now active because of Dominion, so can make one of his units +5 attack in next round if he wants to. Proud Mercenary coming down as well. Extremely high attack comes from this Proud Mercenary, buffing all of your units. This is going to be ridiculous for Tajic to defend. This is a lot of power here. We're going to definitely need the third burn is nice, that's for sure. Definitely going to need some Power Trip into Sudden Eruption action, probably twice in order to stimulate this bleeding. State Machine tries to block and tries to deal a little bit of damage. It is just going to fall to Grounds of the Fallen here, though we could see Favored played instead as a to have an 8-powered Relentless unit. But Grounds comes down, buffs everybody. The Proud Mercenary, oh my gosh, he double moves down to take out the bottom idol for 10 damage. Excellent counting on that. And with Roasted Bean Potion and Favored, this crossbowman can suddenly take out either of these top idols, no problem. Canister auto comes down. Another unit's going to come down up here, but it's not going to be enough. And we're going to see Antirad taking the game here, if I'm doing the math right, going up to 5 Roasted Bean Potion into Favored. Actually, he goes Pother. This is interesting. Maybe he can still... I'm sure he can still win the game here. We see the Bean Potion come down on the Aging Knight. Focus coming down. That's 9 damage, 10 damage. I don't think it's going to be quite enough, though. I think Antirad actually missed lethal. That's too bad. Not that it's going to change too much. I don't think that Tajic's going to be able to come back here. But you never know. You never know. Sacks for scrolls. Finds lots of powerful, expensive units, but Power Trip into Power Trip. Draws a scroll. It's a potion. That might actually be handy. Starts with an Excogitator. So, Excogitator. I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. That gets a potion. Defends the weak idol. Cannon comes down, but he still has an idol undefended. And that is going to be enough for the Favored to come in and buff the crossbowman up to 10 attack and seal the victory. So Antirad takes the game. Alright, so as this game is closing, I'll talk about where this channel is going. I can't promise that I have lots of videos in the future. I'm going to do a couple for Scrolls just as a sort of swan song because I miss it and want to just do a few for funsies. I'm going to upload a video for Spellweaver soon. I did a blind run through of the tutorial for that. It's a new trading card game that just came into open beta, I guess a few weeks ago. I only heard about it yesterday for the first time, and I had a good first impression, so I might do a couple videos for that if I have some time. But anyway, that's all for me. This has been Smogan with Scrollscast number 50. Big thank you for everyone who has watched this channel in the past and will watch it in the future. It's been a blast. Take care.